Right then, this up and coming weekend is Joyce versus Derek Chisora. Uh, Big British heavyweight scrap. Both guys are going to go in there and absolutely slug it out. I've seen loads of people being negative about it. Two old heavyweights going at it, which is understandable. But I think we'll have a half decent fight here overall. To be fair, we've got two British heavyweights going at it. It is going to be a fun fight, in my opinion. But I understand why people are against it 100%. I get people's reasoning for that. I also believe that Derek Chisora will win this fight. I'm taking a big risk by going for it because these past few weeks, my predictions haven't been all too great, let's say. But I'm going with Derek Chisora for the upset. I think Derek Chisora will will shock the whole world. Well, the whole of British boxing, should we say. Derek Chisora will shock the whole of British boxing with a big, brutal knockout win over Joyce. And look, hear me out, because loads of people are going to be saying, Chisora's not going to KO Joyce. Joyce's chin just holds up way too much. But at the end of the day, though, the guy's punch resistance is going. Joyce's punch resistance is going, and we've seen him fight many guys like Derek Chisora before with those big bulking overhands. Let's mention like Christian Hammer, Cash Ali, you could kind of say as well. And, at the end of the day, Joyce seems to, he seems to be hurting. He's very, very, very hittable with those overhands, Joyce. Very hittable with those overhands. And who knows what his chin is right now. 38 years of age, coming off a win over Cash Ali, but before that, coming off a stoppage win, a stoppage loss against Zhang, then a KO loss against Zhang. And, how's the guy's chin holding up? Because he's taken massive shots off big punches. Like, Carlos Takam as well. One of those guys with those big bulking overhands, like what Chisora's got. Christian Hammer, as I said, big bulking overhands. Cash Ali as well, you could say. They're fighters with big bulking overhands who can trouble you and hurt you. And Joyce has been affected by those big bulking overhands before, which Derek Chisora has got. And Chisora works the body well as well, in my opinion. He, digs in with some big brutal hooks to the body. And, his overhands are deadly, to be fair. And, Alexander Usyk as well said himself, the number one heavyweight in the world right now, he's come out and said that, Chisora is the hardest hitting opponent that he has faced. That is what the one and only Alexander Usyk said. So Chisora clearly has big, big power. And he obviously still has that power because, I know it wasn't really shown against Washington. But at the end of the day, they say as a heavyweight, the last thing in boxing in general, the last thing you lose is your power. And, Chisora's got that power. He's one of the most hardest hitting punchers in the heavyweight division, in my opinion. And I feel like he can crack Joyce's chin. I really think he can crack Joyce's chin. Joyce just plods forward into big shots and just, puts his shots together very slowly. The thing is with Joyce, though, in his slow shots, he does have big power. And with Joyce as well, though, he can back you up well, put you into the corner, and Joyce can cut off the ring well against you. But at the end of the day, I see Joyce he's going to be backing Chisora up at times. He's just going to get caught with big bulky overhands because he's got no head movement, no defense at all. And that's what's going to cost Joyce overall, in my opinion. Joyce has fought fighters like Chisora before, and Joyce is vulnerable for those overhands. And now we've got to the point where we've seen Joyce's chin cracked against Zhilei Zhang twice. Zhang, was wobbling him all round the place in that first fight, and in the second fight knocked him out. And Joyce's punch resistance is going, in my opinion, definitely, and it's only going to be a matter of time until he gets knocked spark out again, in my opinion, Joyce. Cash Ali wasn't wobbling him or anything massively, but he was getting success in that fight. But at the end of the day, Cash Ali's not a big puncher like what Zhilei Zhang is, like what Derek Chisora is. Cash Ali's not that kind of big puncher. Joyce, every time, he's getting hit with these big shots in these big bulking overhands against this kind of fighter, that fight against Carlos Takam that Joyce had, who's very similar to Derek Chisora, as we know, I'm sure those shots took a lot out of Joe Joyce in the making to going into those Zhang fights, 100%, and going into this fight as well. That it's going to take, it's taken years off his life overall, if we're being real. Same as like the Christian Hammer as well, with the big bulky overhands. They're taking a lot out of Joe Joyce. Gradually, they're taking a lot out of Joe Joyce, and eventually Derek Chisora, I think, he's those fighter. He's that kind of fighter. He will get success against Joe Joyce, and he's going to get success. He will land big shots, and he will knock Joe Joyce out. And look, I know Derek Chisora, he's old. He plods forward into big shots and stuff. But at the end of the day, Joyce have been troubled by fighters like Chisora before. And I think it's the end game now for Joe Joyce, 100%. It was clear in that Cash Ali fight. It's the end now. It's the end game now for Joe Joyce, 100%. It's the end game for Derek Chisora as well, though, basically. But I think Chisora does. I mean, we saw Chisora against Fury. That was so sad to watch, if we're being honest. But Chisora showed a good chin in that fight, which is big to take into this fight. Chisora has shown a good chin in his previous fights, 100%. He showed a great chin against Tyson Fury. Showed some good, decent punch resistance against Washington in his last one as well. So, at the end of the day, he's got a good bloody chin. We saw it in the Pulev fight as well. Chisora took massive shots. In the Joseph Parker fight, Chisora got up from 3 knockdowns in that fight. And tried to make it as close as, and, tried to get it as close as possible. But, at the end of the day, Chisora, I think, has got that heart and grit in him to dig deep and get that KO win. I think Chisora wants this more than what Joe Joyce does. And, look, I'm a big fan of both guys overall, to be fair. I'm just saying how it is going into this fight overall for a prediction. I think Chisora wants it more than Joyce. Chisora doesn't want to give up, and it just seems like in the end, in that Cash Ali fight, Joe Joyce just didn't really seem to have that real hunger and desire to really go for the kill in that fight against Cash Ali. And clearly, he's even slower than what Joe Joyce has ever been. He's slower than what he's ever been before. And I think Chisora will take advantage of it. People will call me delusional, but it's just slowly becoming the end game now for Joe Joyce. And I think overall, Chisora's got a style that we've seen trouble Joe Joyce before, and Joe Joyce is getting worse and worse every single time we see him now. We've seen it from his last 3 fights. He's getting knocked out in this one, in my opinion. Joe Joyce, he's getting knocked out. I think Chisora will do it. I'm going to say, I doubt it'll go far. I'm going to say round 5, Derek Chisora. Round 5, Derek Chisora, brutal knockout. That's what I'm going to say. Chisora will shock British boxing. I don't mind who wins. I'm neutral. But, yeah, that's my prediction for this fight. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, King. I'll speak to you in a bit. Thanks for watching. Peace out.